Good morning, everyone. Happy
Yeah.
June.
Good morning.
No.
Hopefully everybody's having a great day.
You did the, I know, like it's the reference to the heat. Is that why you did that?
Heat, the time going by so fast.
I know. It's going to be Christmas Eve soon.
I
Oh
know.
my.
Tomorrow.
No, no. Don't talk about fall already.
And Ray will be building toys till 2 in the morning for all the grandkids.
Yeah, there'll be some assembly required. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, hey, we're
Yeah.
talking about CFOs taking the role of HR. And it seems like an odd topic, but not really because it's happening a lot. There are a lot of companies that are either not hiring for a head of HR or removing the head of HR due to expense management. Just had a friend call me yesterday, was working at a company. He's not in HR, he's in business development, but he told me that they laid him off as he's head of business development, sales, marketing, and HR. And that work will be going to the CFO. And we have a number of companies where the CFO is doing HR work and they're not super excited about it.
Yep. So true. Yeah. The whenever we talk to some of these firms, and we talk to the CFO, we ask them. So, do you like doing payroll? Do you like doing benefits admin?
Do you like doing employee relations? Do you
And
like managing performance reviews?
Yeah, and very quickly, the answer becomes no. That's why we're talking to you because they're and some companies, even one of our newer clients, the HR function was eliminated, and then the CFO and the CEO kind of were tag teaming it, and it has not been going well, and they've had lots and lots of challenges. So we're seeing that, like you said, Jason, more and more. Talking to our finance people and and look for help.
And one of the things too is not to make this 100% about us, but there has to be a tie-in back to Thrive HR. But we're doing this work for a lot less than what they would be paying a embedded HR person to do. And that's the beauty of us. But also at the same time, there is a cost for that work. So I think the problem is people dislike HR work. And then sometimes they dislike even having to pay for the work. But that's a little bit tongue in cheek. But yeah, I mean, we're significantly less than what it would take for you to hire a full-time person to do that work. And a lot of markets we're 60% less, especially when you take a look at salary, when you take a look at having to pay benefits costs and bonuses and everything else. We're a substantially lower cost. We take on the work, and in some instances, or in most instances, you're getting a huge upgrade of talent because we have a big group of people behind us that have a lot of world-class experience, and you're able to tap into that for dramatically less than what you'd be hiring somebody to sit in the office and do.
Yep, exactly. I think we've one of our last examples. I think we were right at 55 to 60% cheaper than having an HR person with all of their fringe costs, taxes, all the benefit loads, you know, and it's a very very compelling argument for us to do the fractional support and being able to actually be available and actually get stuff done for them quickly. I mean, we've with one client we just found out that their payroll provider wasn't doing Cobra notices as an
Right.
example, and so we've got we're asking all the right questions, and that's the key is keeping folks compliant and working correctly.
Well,
Yeah,
and
oh, go ahead, Heather.
I was going to say that doesn't excuse me, that doesn't even touch on the cost of keeping companies out of HR jail.
Yep,
Letting
exactly.
people go for the wrong reasons or doing the wrong process, not having your documents lined up. I mean, there's a lot of cost beyond just an HR person that if you don't have someone watching your back, it can go downhill really fast. And people don't realize that. And that's why these CFOs are calling us, because they're getting to the point of going, geez, I don't know what I'm doing. And we need help.
Well, one of the things too is a lot of these states, they're incredibly complicated in terms of their legal requirements and their compliance issues. You look at, I used to just pick on California, but I'm not going to pick on California. I'm starting to pick on Massachusetts. Oh my gosh. Massachusetts is very, very complicated. And the thing about Massachusetts is a lot of these things aren't even appealable in terms of the complexities of some of the things that Massachusetts has regulated. Like if you make the violation and the employee can show the violation, they just send it to the AG's office, Attorney General's office, and you get fined. There is no ability to appeal the fine. There is no ability to have any type of hearing over the fine. And some of these fines we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. And so we're helping people move through that. And then the other thing is a lot of times we're getting pulled into very complicated employee relations issues. So I don't know how some of these companies are doing this in terms of working these employee relations issues if you don't have experience doing it, because a lot of them are very, very tricky and require a lot of nuanced conversations and thinking. I think one of the things that happens is that people look at some of these things that don't have a background in HR and they think, oh, wow, this person is going to react in this logical sort of linear approach, meaning I'm going to do this and then they're going to do this and this will all work out. But then what happens is people respond as people, which is not always full of logic. It's full of emotion, which is what we're, understand. And then the whole thing goes, cattywampus, and meaning it becomes a mess. And then we have to, help them out, or they have a huge employee relations problem that becomes a costly lawsuit. And they're like, let's use somebody else from now on because we can't do this. And so that happens, and that's not like an edge case. It happens a lot. Like we deal with that like quite a bit. Probably every week we're getting pulled into a situation like that.
Yeah.
Yep, it's so true. And there are so many different, issues that pop up, for, CEOs, as well as the CFOs. And, and the one that we just got involved with recently is a merger and acquisition where, they're almost ready to close the deal. And then somebody says, well, what about the employee experience and onboarding? And all of a sudden we get called in, and we've got to basically, step in and, develop, presentations for employees, develop kind of a strategy on onboarding, getting people paid, getting people on their benefits, all that has to happen. And in this case, they were doing 2 acquisitions at one time, within 3 days of each other closing. So, it's really, really critical. We like to get involved early, but if we get involved later, we can make it work and figure out the right solution for the organization. And I think that's the beauty of our approach is, we can respond quickly and we've got the experience, the templates, as well as, we know what needs to get done and we just kind of make it happen.
When you say really critical, we feel it's really critical, but there's a lot of companies that don't feel like it's really critical. So that's cool. We will help you with the downstream effects of it. So we're like, you should do this. We think it makes sense, but if you don't want to, that's okay. And then they'll come back to us and say, yeah, that was pretty important. I don't know why we ignored you.
Yeah, that happened. Yes.
Yeah. Because sometimes I think companies think that when we say really critical or this, you really should do this, they somehow feel like, oh, well, that's them trying to get work, or that's them trying to, put fear into us or whatever. And that's not the case. We really are just telling you, based upon our experience, this is a critical piece of the work that you need to get done. Should you choose not to do it, that's cool. It's one of those things, pay me now or pay me later. And, either way, we're good with that. We'd rather, help you in advance because that makes your life easier. But we're here to support.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's not necessarily that we want to do the work. It's just a recommendation of the right way to do this. And I think we had a situation recently where, in a transaction, it was an asset deal where the company was buying the assets of the company, not the stock of the company. And when you buy the stock, you are buying the stock, and then all of the agreements that go with the company are assumed. But when you're already buying the assets, there are no contractual agreements that come forward with the assets. So you really have to, re-employ every employee as part of the deal. And our recommendation was you really need to at least provide the employees a letter saying whatever you have today, you're going to have tomorrow after the deal closes, and at least cover yourself. And the first reaction from the company was, "Oh no, we don't have to do that." Like, well, you really do, because you really, you can be held up by somebody who says, I think I'm paid $50,000 below market. I'm not coming over, and they could be a critical person. So, eventually the organization decided to have the legal team, memorialize the deal with a letter, to the employees, to each employee, and it worked out perfect. Everybody came along, everybody accepted, their terms and conditions. We're off and running, and getting them, integrated. So, and that's just an example of, sometimes, you know, we make recommendations based on what's best for the organization to avoid problems.
And they lived happily ever after.
That's right. That's right.
No,
That's
that
right.
was a good news story. The other thing is that we have an article that we wrote coming out in Employee Benefits News in July. So we'll point to that link when it comes out. But one of the things that we're talking about in that article is that we're seeing more and more small to mid-sized companies use HR more effectively and reach out to companies like us. And one of the reasons is they have seen how hard it is to recruit and retain people during the last 3 years. Obviously, things have slowed down a little bit, but a lot of companies don't want to go through that again. So they're doing a lot more to make the environment a lot more professional and a lot more engaging in terms of performance reviews and organized learning and development, and getting managers trained, and making this overall mindset of let's just improve the overall quality of the HR and the culture of the company, and we're impacting that. And one of the things that also was came out recently is that people at bigger companies are just feeling more and more stressed about being at big companies, and they're increasingly going to smaller places where they can have a big impact and feel a little bit less pressure. And so it becomes really important to create a strong culture, strong learning and development, strong organization that can support these people that you've now gone out and recruited and have really good experience and be able to retain them. So companies are being more and more focused, even smaller companies than they had in the past, about retention, as they just don't want to have to go repeat having to pull people in and train them and do that recruiting and the re-educating them and retraining them. So it's become even more important. And there's like I said, a lot of information coming out about that right now.
Yeah, and even we like to call it the employee experience, and employees need to have a positive experience dealing with their HR challenges at large firms and even at small firms. And we for one of our clients, they just went through a reduction in force, a layoff, and one of the employees was having challenges with their medical coverage. The company said, "Hey, you're going to be covered through the end of the month," and all of a sudden they get cut off, at the beginning of the month. So they've got things that haven't been reimbursed to the providers, and they're getting requests to pay bills that aren't correct. And so we've stepped in. We're helping those employees make sure that they're getting taken care of, because that employee experience is so important, not only for that employee who left the company, but also as the company makes a turnaround, starts to employ more people. We want to have positive feedback in the market about how they were treated, because that makes a huge difference in the employee brand for the future. So, how folks are treated are critical, and like Jason said, you know, at small firms, it matters. At large firms, it matters. It just matters, period, that employees are well taken care of.
Sorry, Heather, you don't work at one of those firms where you're well taken care of. I apologize.
No, that's why I'm here.
That's why Heather keeps
That's
showing up.
right.
She likes being here.
I love
So we like having her.
We do.
Yeah. So no, I agree. So this is actually a pretty meaty topic right now. We're seeing this a lot, and quite frankly, the CFO doesn't really want to deal with this. They're not really interested in it, and and it's not. We're not saying mean things about CEOs or bashing CEOs. Most CEOs, they're just not predispositioned to want to talk about the things that are squishy. I mean, they're all about numbers, and 2 + 2 = 4. And so to get into this stuff, it's like, oh, they want to, roll their eyes and, do something different. They want to go back to their abacus, because this stuff just, drives them crazy. So we love coming in and helping the CFO not go crazy anymore, or the CEO, for that matter of fact, not go crazy anymore. So, we had, one of our companies just have a really sort of weird ER thing that we had to take care of this week. And so if the CFO and the CEO had been in charge of, HR, they'd have to take care of this issue. And I don't think they would want to deal with it. Ray had to deal with it. So that's in the right place. But
Exactly.
anyway, yeah. So it's becoming, we're seeing more and more of this, and we're happy with our clients that have come to the realization that we're the place to come to take on this work.
Yeah. The other thing that's important too is, part of our value proposition is, one, you can use this as much or as little as you need.
We prefer much.
We prefer much, exactly. Number one. Number two, we really, this is what kind of we enjoy doing this kind of work. This is our passion, and it frees up those individuals at the CFO level, at the CEO level, to really focus on growing the business, closing transactions, keeping their customers happy. Those are the things that they really enjoy doing, and that's their focus. Not worried about some employee and their challenge with their benefits coverage. So that's the other part. That value proposition is huge for our clients, and they really want to focus on the things that are driving that top line growth.
Yes, or they don't want to have to worry about performance reviews. They don't want to have to worry about launching the performance review process and managing that everybody's getting the performance reviews done, and that everybody's had a conversation, and that everything's in the tool. And, we do that work. Or they don't want to have to think about, gosh, we need to actually put in a performance management process. What should we do? Should we do it in Excel? Should we use a tool? What vendors do you guys have? Thrive, can you help us with? So, we can come in and do anything that you need us to do and up level what you're doing right now. So that's, I think, a big part of it, is that we're really connected in the market. We have a lot of partners, and we're talking to people every day about what's happening, and we're on the cutting edge, whether that's at speaking at the World of Work, or whether that's going to speak at HR Florida, or whether that's speaking at the next HR SHRM conference in Fort Worth, or potentially speaking at World of Work in Denver, or all those other places that we are. So we're cutting edge on what's happening. And so I think that is really important for our customers and really important for our potential customers that we're really telling you how to be best in class at what you're doing.
Yep, exactly. Heather, any thoughts or stories on some of the clients that you've worked with and helped?
The one thing that I have noticed and seen, obviously an uptick of CFOs reaching out to us, is hearing from the client, several different clients that have come back and numerous times have said, we are so glad to have you. And what the CFOs, COOs, CEOs don't like to do is what we love to do. That's why we're here. And that's not just trying to pat ourselves on the back. It's very true. And people have also come to, they feel like as if they are our only client, because they get that urgency, they get that attention, they get that help, as if we are, just working with them. And so I think that's something that to be said, where the larger consulting firms, today I'm working with client A, tomorrow I'll work with client B. You're not going to, potentially get the attention like you do with us.
Yep. So true. We'd love to help you and talk with you about, any of your needs.
Yes, and that's really true. Is our clients come to us again and again and say, hey, you're really adding value for us. We really appreciate the value.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, I think, the biggest compliment that you can get is when your clients say you're adding value. That's always what you want to hear. And we appreciate that, and we value everyone that does that. So
yep.
If they want to talk to you, Heather, about all the great things that you're doing and how we can help, how would they do that?
You can see my email scrolling at the bottom, heather.simmons@thrivehrconsulting.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can also find us through our website.
Does that mean I should have read that off rather than asking you that when you said it's scrolling at the bottom? Was that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to point it out.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Ray, how do they get a hold of you, even though it's scrolling at the bottom?
Exactly. Just Ray at thrivehrconsulting.com. Or give us a call on LinkedIn or our cell. We'd love to talk to you.
And we also publish this in a podcast, so they can't see what's scrolling. So I mentioned to those that are looking, and then I say it out loud for those that are listening.
That's right.
Yes, you can reach me at jason@thrivehrconsulting.com, or you can go on to our website and you can take a look there. We also have an AI bot that we should be advertising, that if you have some HR questions, you can go in and ask the bot. We've been training the bot on a variety of things. So if there's a question that you need answered and it's not in the bot yet, let us know. We'll put it in there. But we have a lot of information in the bot that you can access for free. And if you need to get a hold of us, you can actually schedule appointments through the bot. We can do that as well, too. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of ways to get a hold of us: website, LinkedIn, email, our phone number, 1-888-393-3453. So we're really accessible.
Yep. And also, please check out our mid-year newsletter that we just released. So it's on our website and available on LinkedIn. So, if you haven't seen it, let us know. We'll be happy to send over the link and you can check it out.
Sounds good.
All right. See you next week.
Keep adding value, team.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, see you. Bye. All right, bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.